Hi, everyone. Another great episode of, what's this called? Another great episode of What's Up Mainframe, here from Plano, Texas, and actually kind of meeting in the middle. So with me, I have Ian Chudleigh from our client services team from down under. Australia, indeed. Ian, you came here for Technical Exchange in part to give a presentation on a customer adoption story.
Yes.
First of all, what was your experience presenting? Do you enjoy the conference?
Yes, I've really enjoyed the conference, and I was a bit nervous about how the presentation was going to go, but it worked out very well in the end.
Well, I heard great things, and while a lot of the audience obviously was interested in some of the solutions and workflows that were achieved, what I heard is more people were really intrigued and found valuable what you shared about the kind of organization and cooperation that really had to go on within the organization as part of the process of onboarding new solution. So can you talk a little bit about what was important for this customer to really get things going?
Yeah, so the mainframe in many organizations tends to be a little bit over in the corner, and the application teams are running their mainframe applications for a long time, and they don't necessarily think about changing them. Yep. And there's an assumption that the mainframe can't participate in
they're over here.
Yeah, they're over there, and they're an exception. So there's all these processes within an organization that are in place, but the mainframe is an exception to those. And when you finally find somebody in the business and inform them of what's actually possible,
yep,
they're quite surprised because they haven't been told before.
Okay.
And so in this case, there was an outsourcing partner involved as well.
Okay.
And so they were running all of the mainframe infrastructure, and
so a little bit more separation in a way as well.
Yeah. And so everybody was moving ahead with things like GitHub and pipelines and all those sorts of things.
Okay.
And the mainframe application teams didn't think they could participate in that.
Okay.
And that meant that they weren't adhering to a lot of the controls that were in place within the organization around having security scanning and code quality scanning and being part of the automation pipeline and basically the faster times to market that are available from those kinds of implementations.
So in general then, on one side, kind of the distributed side, they had already started using, probably long ago, a lot of this tooling, and
yep,
from that built up an expected framework and kind of integration steps and whatever else that all teams were sort of meant to achieve.
That's right. So you've got your DORA metrics like lead time to change. There was a 10-day requirement for that.
Okay.
And
ambitious. And from a mainframe perspective.
From a mainframe perspective, that was very ambitious, and they weren't achieving that, of course.
Yep.
And so now you have a challenge of getting the mainframe teams, the outsourcing partner teams, the executive management over on the business side, mm-hmm, engaged. And again, the executive managers often feel that the mainframe is over in the corner and they just need to deal with it.
Yeah. Or really, they don't even really want to deal with it. They want to let it live and just continue.
So having the mainframe be part of the solution in terms of meeting corporate objectives like lead time to change was a bit of an eye-opener for them. But obviously you can't just walk into the business meetings with those people, and so we needed to find a way to engage.
Uh-huh.
And so we were able to create like a really short executive video,
okay,
with your help, because you're very good with videos.
Lukash especially.
and that short executive video was taken into the meetings that we weren't privy to.
Okay.
And very quickly able to communicate the benefits of what this could deliver to them, and the executives on the business side responded to that very positively, like, really, we can do that? And the mainframe infrastructure teams, especially in an outsourcing environment, they were never taking these kinds of initiatives in the past. But once the business knew which questions to ask,
Yes.
and of course the mainframe teams need to provide the service to the business, when they asked those questions, then it opened up lots of possibilities. So that meant we needed to do design thinking workshops,
Yes.
getting all of the developers on board.
Well,
with
really all the stakeholders, right?
Yeah, all the stakeholders on board with a new approach, and so we got business, mainframe infrastructure, outsourcing partners, testers, coders, everybody all together on a design workshop where they were able to all put their problems on the table and put their concerns on the table, and have those addressed.
Yes.
So that everybody was on board from the beginning and nobody was surprised.
Yep.
And so the project went very, very well, very, very successfully for those reasons. Everybody was on board from the beginning, but there were issues.
There were issues, and so I think before we go to the issues, just kind of a breakdown is basically there is kind of an expected way of working, tooling that most of the people on business side even kind of were aware of that came from distributed.
Yep.
But a picture was painted of how that tooling could be applied to mainframe. And then what went into the design thinking workshops was, all right, will this work for us? And what are maybe existing problems that we still need to address in the near future? And how can we deal with them within that framework?
Yeah, that's right. And so they were not used to the mainframe participating in various network design and security settings and things like that. And that started to involve all kinds of architects and things that were outside of the mainframe from all over the organization.
Exactly.
And so as we went through that, we ran into pathways that were not pathways that the mainframe teams were used to following.
Exactly.
And so I would encourage anybody that embarks on this is to try to shore up your network design and security people in advance, and try and even add some of those to the design workshops and the things at the beginning.
Certainly, because there were a number of barriers specifically around these areas, kind of certificates, protocols, what have you.
That's right. And engaging areas of the business that they just had never engaged with before.
Yep.
It's a very big organization, and there's a lot of people that play a part in that technology organization.
And so while it was really about developing a cohesive messaging that could be shared and understood among stakeholders, and then going through the design thinking workshop to address any concerns and kind of steps to onboarding the approach, how did they actually get developers motivated to even try it or consider it? Because there's still that hurdle.
That's right. And so, the mainframe developers thought, well, okay, we're over here doing our mainframe applications, and we're not really part of a lot of things that are going on in the rest of the technology organization. But when we introduced the idea that, okay, you can now use Visual Studio Code, and you can now use, GitHub and CI/CD pipelines and all of the things that their compatriots were using in the other parts of the business, they went, this is great for our careers going forward. It means that we're part of the mainstream, so we can still do our mainframe development, but be part of the mainstream of how development is done everywhere.
Yep.
And I think we did a record number of training 90 people at the same time.
In workshops, right?
Workshops that Broadcom ran for them, and at no cost. And so it was an eye-opener for them that they were able to get this kind of training. Hands-on, and become part of the mainstream, and their careers, they didn't feel as though they were sort of pigeonholed anymore. It was like they were part of the mainstream of the industry. So it was a very good feeling. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And they have quite ambitious plans going forward.
They do. And credit to them. They've created their own AI MCP servers. They're doing all kinds of code development with AI now in conjunction with VS Code. So being in the VS Code ecosystem has meant that it's opened up all of these things that they weren't able to do before. And again, AI is the big thing right now, and everybody's wanting to be a part of that, and now they are. And so it's revitalized the entire development team.
And I guess we'd be remiss. So we've mentioned VS Code and Code for Z, which is really the developer experience. But
Yep.
overall, they're using Bridge for Git, connected to GitHub,
Yeah, Test for Z.
Test for Z.
They're storing all of their security and quality scanning in evidence stores,
Okay.
the same as the other parts of the organization need to. So if there's anything happens in production, they've got something to refer back to as to what testing and scanning was done beforehand. The lead time to change is coming down and down and down. 16 days last month, 14 days this month.
They're almost to 10 days.
Yeah, that's right. They're getting towards their organizational goal. The mainframe, just another set of applications doing the same as everyone else.
No different from any other platform.
Yeah, that's right. That's that's the goal.
That's just fantastic. Ian, thanks so much for going through this customer's experience and what they've really achieved. It's absolutely incredible. And I really hope that we can keep this up and apply this at other customer sites.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a real pleasure doing this, and it's revitalized my career too.
Well, Ian, thanks so much
Thanks
for being
very
part
much.
of the show.
Thank you, Zach.